Hi everyone. I haven't posted for a pretty long time on this channel, and I just wanted to basically start a 12-day mini-series on this channel. This is just to go through a few things that I have covered on my blog, but primarily around implementing Salesforce in either commercial or not-for-profit circumstances. So this video here is not a how-to tutorial. The other videos will be a bit more in-depth for a basic understanding of how to configure, etc. But this video is actually just for the very start. So before you even get Salesforce, or you might be considering getting Salesforce, and you might be talking to Salesforce account executives, or you might be thinking what CRM to use. Now, my business, my angle is always going to be talking about Salesforce, but absolutely you could take this and run with it if you were considering HubSpot or Marketo or other CRM systems, or even to the point of, are you implementing Xero or some other cloud-based technologies? You can still take some of this stuff in this video and apply it to an implementation of whatever cloud-based software that you're looking and considering at doing. But I'm going to be talking from the angle and assuming of the angle of Salesforce. So what I wanted to talk about is the very first step. And like I said, I talk about it in my blog, but I thought the video content might be a little bit more engaging. But the number one thing is planning. I have worked on over 20 Salesforce related or Salesforce projects over the last 4.5 years. So it's been a lot of experience and a lot of exposure to different use cases of Salesforce and different license types of Salesforce. And we can get into that later on. But the number one thing I see time and time again is the lack of planning, and it's the lack of internal knowledge before you even get going. So my recommendation would be absolutely to, before anything else, is nominate somebody in your organization that is going to own this implementation project. You really need a dedicated resource, and even, don't be naive to think, oh, it's just a piece of software, it'll take care of itself. Or, we're moving from on-premise to cloud-based for a reason. Yes, you're subscribing to software that continuously improves. You are continuously feeding, whichever provider you choose. But for example, Salesforce is a subscription-based cloud technology that improves. 3 times a year there's releases. You've got to be aware of what's going to happen in the next release, and does it concern you, or would you like to put it on your product roadmap? Are there new features that you're potentially considering for a different product that or project that Salesforce might be able to take care of in the future? And you need someone dedicated to be able to read through the notes, know whether it's going to be applicable to you, trial something out in Sandbox in enough time. It is about time, so therefore you're going to need resource. Now, I've been in this position before, but absolutely I've seen it time and time again, even with not-for-profits that have part-timers or volunteers. They decide to get Salesforce, and these poor end users are trying to do their day job plus the CRM stuff too, and let me tell you, it only ends up in tears and stress. And if only it had been planned properly as to the amount of hours per day, per week, per month you were going to apply to the CRM ownership and project. You may need someone else to do that normal job and have someone that comes onto the CRM project full-time, part-time, but you need to decide those hours, because someone has to be accountable for the whole life cycle of the project, and you need someone that's prepared and responsible to take control and decide and make the decisions. Too many times I've seen organizations that there's a lot of subject matter experts, they all put their input, but nobody actually decides what it is. What's the end result? So when you do your planning, you must be thinking about what's the output. Why are we even going for this? If it's as simple as we just want to come off spreadsheets and we want to replicate It's a area that lots of people can collaborate and work from a live spreadsheet through Salesforce. Then it needs its own plan. I can't pull all the use cases out, but you need to know what your use case for this system actually is and what are you expecting out of it. The second part to it all would be, and this is where it opens up a can of worms or Pandora box. Believe me, it happens every single time. It is when you are talking through your current processes, or maybe you don't even have any yet, but you need to map out your processes internally and understand how that is going to fit on the Salesforce platform. And again, that's going to need some level of sign-off and yes, this is what we're going to go live with to begin with, because the system will evolve and your business practice might change and evolve. So you've got to have it so that it's flexible, scalable, but you need to decide what you want to go live with in the first place. And that might include any automation, line by line. What is it that you're going to go live with? That way then, even if, as I said, if you haven't put in Salesforce yet, you're in a perfect situation, because you can then actually even go to market, depending on what your budget rate is, for, go, look, actually we've mapped out everything that we want, and it makes it so much easier to size the project by employing or contracting in specialists to do that piece of work. But my advice would be you need to start with the very basics. So that resource or resources you've selected for this project, then you need to actually give them the internal skill sets before you even get going, and ways you can achieve that. So the first thing would be try and engage in the local user group community. There's a lot of people that, Salesforce is the #1 CRM system in the world. It's been around 18, 19 years now. There's a lot of people globally that are customers, and there's a lot of people that can help you make decisions because they've experienced some things and this is how they got around with it. So try and engage locally within your community of customers that already exist. And the second thing would be, the best thing of all. So you need to go to trailhead.com. Now that is Salesforce's e-learning platform. And as part of that platform, so you actually create your own free account on Trailhead. And in order to do the exams and challenges, you actually get and sign up for what they call a developer account. So that is a free Salesforce account, which basically gives you the maximum exposure to the platform there is on Salesforce. Some limitations because it's not a live instance, but this could be a starting point for you to do your own proof of concept. Start getting familiar with the system. Own it yourself and go, wow, trial importing a little bit of data into it and see what the result is. So we will go into it in more depth, but out of the box, the system, as I said, is 18, 19 years old. It's doing very, very well. So out of the box, it's taking consideration what most organisations would need to fulfil an A to Z life cycle. But you do have customization and configuration ability on that platform too. But I have seen time and time again, people that get Salesforce straight away, want to put all their data in there. They have no clue about mapping. They have no clue how it's going to look on the other end, and get a few mixed results. And even in the back end, it can be really messy with pick list values because you've imported things and nothing matches up. So that would be like red flag #1. If I can highlight any advantage before you even get going, then how about, hey, you can take out a free 30-day trial of the enterprise version, or you can just sign up for a developer account and just, as I said, get familiar with it, do a few Trailhead units. They are very bite-sized chunks of information and training on the platform, and that will start to give you a very baseline level of what it looks like. At least some people get Salesforce and don't even realize what it looks like, or have been sold the world by Salesforce themselves, and then you're in over your head because you've already signed up to something, you're paying for it, but you can't use it yet because you haven't done your prep work, you have not done your planning. And the planning phase might take way longer than you ever envisioned because you've got Maybe you've got very complex systems. Maybe you're about to change websites. You need to think about integration potentially. So you need to maybe talk to your IT department or your web developers. You need to understand what the implications are on their side. How many hours is this all going to take? So the planning phase is massive and it shouldn't be overlooked. And as part of the planning, the resourcing to taking on the project or this product in general should not also be overlooked either. So this is just my first video. It's sort of like a 12 days of Christmas. You're going to see content every day leading up to Christmas now, with the hopes that, I know a lot of people are winding down, but also they're thinking about 2020. They're thinking about what projects are we taking on next year and how could we do them really, really well. Like what's out there that can tell us how to do this, and what do? We go to Google, we go to YouTube for a lot of the answers. So that's what I'm here for, and that's why I thought I would share as much knowledge as I can in fairly bite-sized videos for you to know at least where you can be pointed to in the right direction when you're taking on this sort of project. So stay tuned for the next video.